Libra, the moment your energy comes in, it feels like something in your life has been gently shifting behind the scenes for weeks. Not loudly, not dramatically, but consistently enough that you can sense the air changing around you. There's a feeling of being right at the edge of an answer, the edge of a blessing, the edge of something that feels long overdue. Spirit shows me that the next major blessing for you is coming from a direction you didn't think mattered anymore. Not the place you've been watching, not the situation you've been tracking, but the one that's been quietly aligning itself without needing your effort. Let's see what unfolds. The Ace of Swords cuts through the haze first, bringing clarity that feels like fresh air. The first wave of this card shows a truth rising to the surface, one that finally helps you make a decision you've postponed for far too long. Something becomes undeniable. A thought, a realization, a shift in your perspective suddenly clicks, and everything that previously felt confusing now becomes simple and direct. This clarity is a blessing, because it pulls you out of mental loops you've been exhausted by. In the second layer, Spirit shows you having a breakthrough in communication. A conversation you were avoiding may happen naturally, or someone may reach out with information that changes the direction of a situation. You won't need to chase clarity. It arrives in a straight line, giving you the mental peace you've been craving. This blessing brings certainty where there was doubt and direction where there was hesitation. The third part of this energy highlights an inner shift. You're not just seeing things clearly, you're thinking differently. Your mind becomes sharper, more decisive, more aligned with what you truly want rather than what keeps the peace. Your mental boundaries strengthen. You trust yourself more. You're no longer relying on outer reassurance to validate your inner knowing. This shift alone begins reorganizing your external world. In the final layer of this card, the blessing reveals its purpose, liberation. You are freed from something that once had power over your thoughts. A fear, a memory, an expectation, a pressure. The clarity you gain here becomes the foundation for every blessing that follows. This is your turning point. The Empress glides in next, with an energy of growth, abundance, and quiet confidence. In the first wave, this blessing shows expansion, not forced, not rushed, but natural. Something in your life begins to grow because you finally feel safe enough to receive it. Your creativity awakens. Your intuition strengthens. You feel more connected to your own rhythm than you have in months. You stop shrinking yourself to fit situations and start letting yourself bloom again. In the second layer, Spirit shows healing around your self-worth. Something in you remembers who you are, the softness you carry, the strength you hide, the wisdom you've earned. This blessing isn't a sudden change, it's a gradual elevation of your emotional and energetic posture. You begin choosing from self-respect rather than obligation. That shift pulls new opportunities, new people, and new forms of support toward you. The third layer shows nurturing energy increasing in your life. You could feel more supported, more cared for, or more grounded in your relationships. Someone may step in to help when you least expect it. You may reconnect with something that nourishes your heart. The blessing here is emotional fullness, the kind that reminds you that you don't have to do everything alone. And in the final wave of this card, Spirit highlights growth in the physical world, finances, health, stability, or something material improving. You receive something that confirms you're moving in the right direction. This blessing strengthens your foundation and makes the next chapter feel sustainable, not fragile. The Knight of Cups follows with soft movement toward your desires. In the first wave, this is an emotional blessing. Something heartfelt enters your life. It could be a new connection, renewed affection, or an opportunity that speaks to your emotions rather than your logic. Spirit shows a gentle invitation towards something meaningful. In the second layer, this card brings a message about intuition leading the way. You may feel drawn toward a direction you didn't intellectually plan for, yet it feels right. The blessing comes from being guided by your heart in a way that feels safe, grounded, and inspired. You feel seen, valued, and understood by someone or something entering your life. The third wave highlights emotional courage. You're willing to be honest about what you want, not just what you think is practical. This inner openness creates outer opportunities. You might express something you've held inside, or finally allow yourself to receive affection without suspicion or resistance. And in the final layer, the blessing becomes clear. Emotional renewal. A sense of hope returns. A sense of warmth enters your life again. You feel emotionally awake after a period of numbness or caution. This blessing doesn't overwhelm you, it softens you. The King of Wands now ignites momentum. In the first wave, this is confidence returning in a powerful way. You feel more decisive, strong, and sure of your direction. You take leadership over your life instead of letting circumstances dictate your pace. The blessing here is empowerment. In the second layer, a bold opportunity may appear. One that asks you to step into your courage and claim something you once felt unprepared for. You surprise yourself with how capable and ready you are. Spirit is clearing the path for you to pursue something that once felt too big, too demanding, or too far away. The third wave shows your influence increasing. Your voice, ideas, or presence gains more respect. People listen to you differently. Situations respond to you differently. The blessing here is recognition, not validation, but acknowledgement of your inner power. And in the final layer, Spirit shows a breakthrough in your personal direction. You suddenly understand what you're meant to do next. The blessing is clarity of purpose, not just what to do, but why it matters. Before we continue deeper, Libra, your 2026 full forecast is now open. If you want every month of 2026 broken down for you through a channeled reading, your full 12-month personal forecast is available for $155. The Seven of Pentacles enters next with patience paying off. In the first wave, the blessing here is delayed, results finally showing movement. Something you invested effort, time, or emotional energy into begins to bear fruit. You notice subtle but meaningful shifts. In the second layer, Spirit shows that something you thought was stagnant was actually still growing underneath. You begin to see proof that your persistence wasn't wasted. A situation you nearly gave up on starts unfolding in your favor. The third wave highlights timing becoming your ally. What once felt slow now feels intentional. You understand why things had to unfold the way they did. The blessing here is alignment. Things finally happening at the right moment, not earlier or later. And in the final layer, Spirit shows long-term stability forming from your patience. This blessing lasts. It grows. It strengthens your path and builds reliability into an area of your life that once felt unpredictable. The Page of Wands appears with fresh energy. In the first wave, this is a spark, an idea, a plan, a direction that excites you. Something new is calling you forward with enthusiasm rather than fear. A blessing of inspiration arrives. In the second layer, you may feel drawn toward a new beginning in work, travel, creativity, or a personal passion. This direction feels light and promising. You feel possibility opening. Spirit is showing movement that fills you with life again. The third layer reveals that someone may bring you news, an invitation, or an opportunity that changes the energy of your path. This blessing comes quickly, unexpectedly, and with a sense of optimism that lifts your spirit. And in the final wave, Spirit highlights your inner fire reigniting. You feel motivated in a way you haven't felt for a long time. This blessing is about awakening, your desire returning, your excitement returning, your belief returning. Before we go to your final card, Libra, if this reading resonates, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe so this message reaches more people who need it. Temperance steps in now with balance, healing, and divine timing. In the first wave, this blessing brings peace where there was tension. Something in your life stabilizes. You feel calmer, clearer, and more emotionally regulated. In the second layer, Spirit shows a blessing connected to harmony. Two areas of your life finally begin working together instead of pulling you in opposite directions. Something finds equilibrium again. The third wave highlights patience paying off in a spiritual way. You feel more guided, more aligned, more tuned into your own intuition. This blessing helps you move with ease instead of forcing outcomes. And in the final layer, the blessing becomes deeply emotional. You feel restored. Your heart feels lighter. Your energy feels balanced. Spirit is not delivering a dramatic shift here, but a steady one that changes everything quietly and permanently. Affirmation for you, Libra. I trust the timing of my life, and I welcome blessings from directions I never expected.